Hi, okay, so now we're going to move forward with Unit 3, and Unit 3 has you doing accounting like they do in the real world, which is using the General Journal. As you can see in the content, General Journal is an Excel-based thing for the most part, or oftentimes it would be a software program. And what we're going to do to start this is click on the template. So when we click on the template, we'll hit Open, hit Enable Editing. All right, so as you learned in the content, the year that this journal is starting is going to go here. So we're going to start this 2019. It doesn't give us dates, oh, it does give us dates, right? And so those are in February. So I'm going to use Feb because I just don't want to type the whole February. And so then I just tab over and put number 1 for February 1st. And in the question, it tells you that Rebecca paid monthly rent of $535. So what they're asking you then is to think of what accounts would be impacted by this. The debit is always first, so it's rent. Expense is your debit. Tab over, the amount is $535, and the credit is to cash because you paid cash for the rent. Rent expense and expense is always debited. I'm going to center that. Now, I'm going to skip a line. And I should put an explanation, so I'd say PD rent, paid rent. It will come in handy down the road. Again, I have another one on the first, so I don't have to type February again. I just have to write the number 1 for the first day of the month. Rebecca paid $150 cash for additional grooming equipment. So I bought equipment, debit equipment. The amount is $150, so I tab over $150, and we pay cash for it, and it tells you right in the question that you paid cash, so cash is your credit. Bought equip, skip a line, because you always skip a line. Here we are on the 2nd. You notice how I'm not writing February every time. I just have to write the number and the day, and that's it for that month. Rebecca collected $40 from her accounts receivable. So debit is to cash because they're paying you. The amount is $40, and your credit is to your AR, accounts receivable. And then AR paid. Skip a line. The second one, there's 2 transactions on February 2nd. Rebecca shampooed and clipped a small dog and received $35 in cash. So received cash, debit cash, $35. Now the accounts that we can use are listed here in the transaction, in the assignment sheet, and so they're all listed right here. And so if I look down, they call it grooming revenue because we sold a job. Revenue is the money that a business would earn when they sell something. Credit, always. Never debited, always credited revenue. So now on the 3rd, well, sorry, I should put an explanation here. So sold a job. This is now on the 3rd. Rebecca groomed 3 dogs to prepare them for a dog show. Rebecca provided this on account. It was $105. So when you see on account, hopefully you're thinking, okay, it's accounts receivable. The amount is $105, and we'll put that as a credit, $105. And the amount, or the second credit account is grooming. I'm hoping this is going to change out. Grooming revenue. Okay. Skip a line. Also on the 3rd, Rebecca bought 75 of shampoo on account from a pet supply store. So we have grooming supplies as the account that I would use. And the reason how I got that is from the list that's provided in the question. I'm only using these accounts. I can't just make up random accounts. Supplies is an asset. It's increasing. That's why I'm debiting it. And we have accounts payable. So I'm going to credit accounts payable because it says we're buying them on account. Skip the line. 4th. So February 4th, Rebecca paid her phone bill, $68. So hopefully you're thinking that's telephone. Telephone expense. Always a debit. And it says paid, so I'm crediting cash. The second one on the 4th, Rebecca invested an additional $200 cash in her business. So she put more cash into the business, so I'm going to debit cash. And it was 200. And I'm going to call it Rebecca Chow, comma, capital. It's a credit, 200. She's taking money from her personal and putting it into the business. That's why it's increasing her capital. That's why capital is being credited. And it's increasing her cash because it's going into the cash for the business. And I'm going to call this a new investment. The 5th, Rebecca paid her part-time employee, George, $300 for 2 weeks' wages. Oh boy, big dollars. Okay, so now I'm going to debit wages, expense. Always a debit to the expense, and then I'm going to credit cash. PD wages, paid wages. Second one on the 5th is Rebecca sold a desk that she no longer needed for $150 cash. Okay, so we sold a desk. Well, cash is your debit because cash is going up because you sold it for cash and it's $150. Our credit is the equipment because we no longer need it, so we're going to call it, or no, furniture. We'll use furniture, my bad. Furniture, 150. Okay, now a few things I just want to show you. If I hit Control on my keyboard and keep it pressed, I can click on each of these credits while Control is still pressed. And then I can center them all at the same time. Because we know by doing the content that the credits have to be indented. Oftentimes students like to, and I don't know if you'd be interested in this or not, but to do some delineation between each of the transactions is helpful sometimes as well. And then I'm just saying that you could continue this down if you so desired. For me, I don't require that, but you know, sometimes kids like to just have that so they can realize that they need to have a space in between each transaction. Okay, so basically that's it. We're done this assignment. Okay, take care.